Hey, I'm Mike Kirby, and this is how Passion Community uses Planning Center. We use Planning Center for everything from scheduling our volunteers to from our music. We set our order service. Inside the order service, all of our volunteers can know exactly what songs they're doing. They can print out or download any of the songs, the sheet music, the lyrics, all and can be transposed into the different keys that they need. We also track all of our people. This is a people service that we use, so it allows us to know, track everyone's information there from email, cell phone, birth dates. All of this is available on our phone, actually through apps. I have a there's three different planning center apps that we use. We have services, people, and check-ins. Services allow me, I can be on the front row and I can see what our order service, what teams are there, anything like that that's needed, as well as our people. I can go and if I'm trying to contact someone, I can search for an individual. So I'll search for myself, which I didn't show up. Here we go. So now I can, through the app, I can send myself a text message or email from all the information is right there. And so all I have to do is hit that and I can send a text message. So it's basically anybody that is in our planning center database, then we can automatically contact them. I know when their birthday is and all that information. Services, we use Planning Center Live. Planning Center Live is on a television screen at the back of the sanctuary. So we can set a certain amount of time for worship, for preaching, for all of the various different aspects of our service. That keeps us from going over, me preaching too long, from the musicians taking too much time. And so all of this can be adjusted in live real time. And so if one group goes over, what will happen is it'll show up in the red and give them a negative countdown, how much they're going over. And so when that happens, it lets them know that they need to wrap up their time, which is very essential to us as we're going to two services. We also use this for our children's check-ins from our nursery to our children. Any tablet or laptop or even a cell phone can be used as a check-in station. We use a laptop because that enables us to print labels. So we have laptops in our church when the parents come in to drop their children off. They can be printed. They check in as easy as all they need is their name. If they're already in the system, then they can search by their last name, mark them as present. It automatically prints a label for the child and a label for the parent so that they can be matched up upon being picked up. Also through Planning Center, you can also do all of your accounting. We currently don't use that function. You can also give online. We use Kindred, and so because of that, we have not switched our number over to Planning Center. Kindred allows us to text to give. Anybody online anybody in the church service, if they don't have the funds to give to a particular project or to give to the church that morning, they can text give to a number on the screen, and it'll prompt them to put in their information. If they have given before, all they have to do is type in $100 and then text $100 to that number, and automatically $100 will be given to us. Of course, minus the credit card fees. We also use what's called a workflow. Under people, our workflow helps us to track all of our first time guests. Not only do we track first time guests, but we track first time guests to partners. And so we have essentially 8 steps from inviting them to a connect meal, getting them a second invite, attend a newcomer meal, weekly newsletter, join small group. This is the old one. This is the old workflow we used to use. But we use to track first, second, and third time guests. But what you can do is you can assign it to different people so that if I do something, it could be our secretary, our office administrator manages all this, and I have certain steps in the workflow. My associate pastor has certain steps in the workflow, and so people don't get lost in the shuffle because everything is systematically pushing people to take the next step, in their faith. We ask people to grow, to find a place to grow and find a place to serve, and eventually to partner with us. And so the workflow takes people and pushes them down to the next step, and then we can go through and say, all right, who does not take their next step, and who do we need to push down, or who do we need to encourage to take their next step? And so workflow is something that automatically does that. The beautiful thing is some of them are automatic. So once, especially for our first, second, third guest, if they go back to the Connect Center for a gift or for whatever reason that they've been prompted to, all it takes is moving them to the next step, and they are automatically sent an email personalized with their name through Planning Center, letting them know. The beautiful thing is once they have they made it to the third step, it's their third time for their visiting, they get an email from me, which I don't write. I wrote it, but I don't write to every single one. But it'll come directly from my email, and it doesn't look like a computerized email. It comes directly from my email, and it'll say, basically to the fact of, you've been here 3 times. We no longer consider you a guest. We consider you family. And tells them more information about the church and how that I'm a pastor and I'm here to serve them. And all this automatically happens through the workflow that we set up. It's a little work to set up everything at the beginning, but then after that, then every guest card, every Connect card that comes through, we don't have to go through and type all that out.
Tell us again about the 3 steps for new members or new visitors.
Okay, so the 3 steps for new members is, so when every Sunday we ask people to fill out a Connect card. If they fill out a Connect card, then they get a Planning Center profile created, which allows us to track them. Once that's done, they get put in the first step of that workflow. The workflow then sends them an email, just kind of a generic welcome. Here's some questions. Here's some information about us. It prompts them to go back to the Connect Center, and that we have a free gift for them. If they go back to the Connect Center the next Sunday, then they receive a Passion Community mug. And when they receive that mug, the people in our Connect Center actually write down their names. And so what that does is it tells our office assistant or office administrator to move them to the second step in the workflow, which then invites them back to the Connect Center for a third time to sign up for a Connect meal. Once they sign up for a Connect meal, that we do that once a month for all our visitors. We've had a tremendous amount of success with that. And so we've actually implemented this to our church. Last year at this time, we were probably averaging about 150 to 170. We're probably averaging 275 now. We've had as many as 326 people. And the big thing is we've just been doing a much better job of retaining our guests and making sure our guests feel welcome and come back. But basically our Connect meals is an opportunity for we have volunteers that prepare a meal and set up in our hospitality room a nice table, and so we show up and just it gives the new people an opportunity to get a chance to know me and my family. It gives me an opportunity to get to know them. They can ask questions about the church. My associate pastor also attends, and then his role is to challenge them to take their next steps as far as finding a place to grow, finding a place to serve, which are the two steps that we always tell people to do once they feel like they are connected to our church. Finding a place to grow is, of course, our passion groups or our small groups, and then we always ask people to join a serve team. We challenge them to join a serve team, not for us, but for them. We say that you get out of church what you put into church, and so if they feel like that they aren't feeling connected to a church or not being fed by a church, it's that we challenge them that if they're getting out of what they're putting into it, and so if we can get people to take their next step and join a passion group or join a serve team, then we usually keep them forever or until they move. Anything else?
I think that's good.
Good.